is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual purge sanctioned by the U.S. government. Weapons of Class 4 and lower have been authorized for use during the purge. All other weapons are restricted. Government officials of ranking 10 have been granted immunity from the purge and shall not be harmed. Commencing at the siren, any and all crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 continuous hours. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be unavailable until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when the purge concludes. Blessed be our new founding fathers and America, a nation reborn. May God be with you all.
Honestly, I'm trying to stay focused. You must think I got to be joking when I say I don't think I can wait. I just need it now. Let it swing my way. I just need some dick. I just need some love. Tired of fucking with these lying niggas, baby. I just need a thug. Won't you be my plug, ayy? You could be the one, ayy. Get started with a handshake, baby. I'ma need more than a hug. Girls can't never say they want it. Girls can't never say how. Girls can't never say they need it. Girls can't never say nah. Girls can't never say they want it. Girls can't never say how. Girls can't never say they need it. Girls can't never say now. Oh, now, baby. Give it to me like you need it, baby. Want you to hear me screaming, heavy breathing. I don't need a reason, baby. I want it till you can't buy. I can get it to you right, baby. I wanna be a healing. I can be real good. Please don't get in your feelings. Hey, I need some love. Hey, I need some love. Hey, I need some love. Hey, and you can't judge.
You don't really call on me like you should. Link up, I'll roll through the hood. Problems, but everything's all good, my love. Your nigga doesn't want smoke with me, nah, no way. Trust me, it's all okay. Trust me, it's all. You just need someone that's calm and patient. Submission, domination. Arch back, deep stroke, white wine, we smoke. That's my best combination. You just need some dick with no complications. You just need some. You just need some late night attention, unconditioned. All that you're missing, my babe. Fucked up, shouldn't even have to justify. I get it, I'm on your side. Guys get their way all the time. Besides, pleasure not meant for one side. You should just do what's best for your mind. How about I just take
like this might tempt me. This. You can go with that. You can go with this. You can go with that. You can go with this. You can go with that. You can go with this. I didn't know I had to get ya. ya. You can go with this. You can go with that. You can go with this. You can go with that. You can go with this. You can go with that. You can go with this.
This is how it should be done.
Yeah.
Black is back. Engine number 9 on the New York Transit line. If my train goes off the track, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Back on the scene, crispy and clean. You can try, but then why? 'Cause you can't intervene. We be the outcast, down for the settle. Won't play rock, won't play the pebble. Open the door, you best believe we're sliding through it swiftly.
What's good? Can everybody hear me, man? Roz started me off rocky. I was trying to get in my mode, try to be calm, cool, collective today, and here comes somebody and poking the bear, antagonizing me. What's good? Good morning, fam. I'm a little tired. Had a long one yesterday. There go Kevin B, starting early. Y'all gonna start poking this bear early in the morning, huh? Just to let y'all know, I've been up since 5:45, okay? So if you just now waking up, you better work on your game. You better get the sleepy out your eye and the wax out your ears, because I've been up since 5:45. I do a lot before 7 every day. So Roz, who want to go in on my music selection, and then Kevin B want to stand behind him with the pom-poms and the cheerleading outfit on and be like, now he a DJ and all that old shit. I was a DJ in the 80s. I was ripping up all them little punk-ass DJs over at the Weds before the Weds was created. I remember when the Weds first opened. I remember when the Weds came to Cincinnati. I remember that. I remember it as if it was yesterday. I don't remember the DJ's name who was supposed to be the hip hop guy, but he had a funny little squeaky voice like, "Ow, man, I don't care. Come on, man." DJ Icy D or some shit like that. I don't remember his name. But he came to my city thinking he was the shit. And he came down to Fountain Square and we had a battle of the DJs or some shit. It was a battle of something. And I lit his ass up on Fountain Square. My old heads know, my sandboxes know that I lit him up. I lit him up at what's that YMCA down on Lynn Street? I forgot the name of that YMCA down on Lynn Street. Yeah, we used to do the battle of the DJs and shit. They hired him to DJ a party and he messed up. He messed up and gave your boy an opportunity to get on his turntables, which I had never had turntables, professional turntables. I never had any of them 1200, Technique 1200 turntables. I never had no shit like that. I always had them Radio Shack turntables. The ones you had to put a penny on so the needle wouldn't jump off the record. So when I scratched and shit, I had to put quarters and needles and rocks and all type of shit on top of the needle so it wouldn't pop off the record. I always had the Radio Shack amp, so I couldn't really cut my shit up too far, too loud before it blew a fuse. All that. See, when you grow up from down the way, I don't care. All my sandboxes from down the way know exactly what I'm talking about. We utilize everything. We were never poor. Everything was at our disposal. Everything. Y'all remember we had those big ass wooden floor model TVs? And we all had the same problem with that television? Who remember that? Who remember? And I can tell you right now, if I pose the question, which I will, what was the problem we had with that big, hard, floor model wooden ass TV with the stereo on top of it, inside of it, the component? It was a component. The TV here, and on top of it and inside of it was the record player. We all had one of them. I guess they all sold them to us on terms or something. But let's be honest. We all had the same problem with that TV. And what was it? I'll give you a hint. Had something to do with the knob. Had something to do with the knob. And we all had the same solution to the problem. We all had the same solution to the problem. What was it? I wish I had my toolbox here because we all had the same solution. And that was we all used vice grips or pliers to turn the channel. Everybody had, if you could go to anybody's house in the hood, if they had a damn Zenith big screen, hard wooden floor ass component set, the knob fell off all of them, how you turn the channel. And everybody had a pair of pliers or vice grips or some shit to turn the channel. Tell me I'm lying. If you ain't from that, don't ever talk to me about nothing. Okay? Because you ain't from that. If you ain't from that, you don't know nothing about what I'm talking about most of the time. Yeah. And we only had a few channels to turn it to. Mama Birch know what I'm talking about. I know she know, because she lived right around the corner, down the street from us. We all had them big ass Zenith televisions, wooden floor models that weighed 952 pounds and 7 ounces. I was too young to see how they got that motherfucker in the house, but they had to use a helicopter. They had to drop them off in the middle. They had to put them on the roof and drop them through the incinerator or some shit, because there was no way in hell somebody was carrying them big motherfuckers up them law home steps. It ain't no way. There ain't no way. You had to use a crane to put them in everybody's apartment. But my thing is, how did we all have the same TV? And the funny thing about that is, and this is some old school shit, my wife and I go through this type of shit. This is funny to me. I don't understand how some of my people on here are old school. Y'all real old school, and I know y'all mamas did this because my granny did it. But why did we buy furniture and leave the plastic on it? That shit is kind of crazy, isn't it? What that reminds you of? Do they still do that today? I'm just curious, because my wife is kind of like that because her mom was like that. And I'm like, they go to Heinz ketchup syndrome. I'm just being honest. Like, who the fuck buys furniture and put plastic on it? Like, that don't even look right. I'm trying to keep it nice looking. You know what it reminds me of? Y'all gonna get mad at me, sisters, but this is every time I see the shit on TV or a throwback or whatever in my mind, or today's society, when I see a little girl walking through the airport and she look like she trying to get ready for the day, I say she gives me that couch with the plastic syndrome. I'm funny like that. I ain't trying to shoot no shade. I'm just being honest. When I see ladies that walk outside and spend all day outside going to get where they getting, like going to the airport, and they look like that they at home, they got on house shoes, bonnets, robes and shit, pants upside down and turned inside out and all that old shit. Let me just be honest. You just remind me of how my granny and them used to do shit with the why. I don't understand the logic of coming outside looking like you're getting ready for the day. Isn't the time that you outside part of the day? And see, that's how I feel about it. I know these things sound different to y'all, but my mind just move a little bit different. And it is this. Now, sis, let me just be honest. If y'all going over to see my sister Alethea, you left your house, you got your bonnet on, you got your shit on, you just trying to get it over there so you can get your shit fried, dyed, and laid to the side. I get that. But you ain't coming from Atlanta to Cincinnati with your shit on like you about to go. Like, you don't spend 7 hours outside traveling talking about I'm getting ready for the day. You didn't spend 7 hours outside already. The hell? The day didn't start it. You got 1 hour to get where you going. That's my rule. Y'all ain't got to like it. That's my rule. You got 1 hour. If you gonna leave your house and go to the hair salon or go to the barbershop, you got 1 hour to get where you're going before the day is considered started. That's just a little philosophy, little rule I got. And You got 1 week to get that plastic shit up off your couches. 1 week. When they deliver that shit, how do delivery people take that shit off your couch? What's the point in having a nice, expensive, lovely looking couch that look like it's still sitting on the truck when it's sitting in your living room? What's the point of that? Take control of your house and tell them badass kids don't eat Dixie cups on top of your couch. Tell them badass kids take their shoes off, climbing up on your couch. Just take care of it. You don't need no plastic. And that shit was thick ass plastic. You couldn't even sit on that shit in the summertime. You would burn. Yeah, it was custom. Ross said, no, Wyatt, the plastic was custom. I know. I know that don't make it look good. You could go buy a brand new Cadillac and buy it off the showroom floor and custom it up and make that shit look crazy. People do it all the time. Oh yeah, I know I just spent 50, 60 grand on this, but let me get that. Let me put a pair of dice on the mirror. Yeah, hell yeah, give me that. And make the windows bulletproof. And then while you at it and shit, put them Vogues on there, but I don't want the Vogues with the white. I want the Vogues with the Astro color pink. People, they custom up dumb shit all the time and make it look crazy. Vincent know what I'm talking about. He said you stuck to the couch when it was hot. Hell yeah, you was stuck and your drawers got wet. And see, I don't know about y'all, but we grew up in the hood, but we was the cleanest. Granny used Clorox. Mama and them used Clorox for everything. But one thing that I got to think back on, and I never really thought about this, if that couch was that damn sweaty from all those asses sitting on it, that might not have been a good thing to follow up. I mean, have you ever seen one of your big uncles or cousins or some shit get off one of them sweaty ass couches and then your mom and them make you go sit on it? Yeah, that don't read right with me today. Yeah, that don't read right. Now, keep in mind, we all grew up and pretty much 90% of my buddies, my friends, we were all clean. Even though we might only had, limited access to clothing, undergarments and socks and shit like that. Y'all don't know this about me. Some of you do. Some of you are new to Wyatt Live, but I have an OCD. I have a phobia. Y'all gonna think I'm fucking crazy when I tell you this. Some of you already know what that phobia is. Okay? Just FYI. If you ever want to get me something, which most of you never will in life, but if you ever decide to get me something for my birthday, December the 6th, I'm just mentioning, or Christmas, December the 25th, or just because you like me, anytime you can drop it off, just get me a bag of socks. I love white socks, black socks, but they have to be brand new. I have a phobia. I am OCD when it comes down to socks. I have never I shouldn't say in my life, but in my professional life as being a grown man and being able to do what I want to do with my money is it's been 30 years. Now it's been about 27, 28 years. I've never worn the same socks twice. I know that don't sound realistic. It don't sound right. Wyatt, you're lying. All you got to do is ask my wife. Ask some of my friends on here. They'll tell you that I have this thing about it because I only had like 3 pairs of socks when I was a kid. And my grandmother, Granny, y'all remember back in the day in Laura Homes, if you didn't make it over there where Mama Birch and them lived. Mama Birch lived kind of directly across the street from the laundromat. And see, when you grow up in the hood, we didn't have washers and dryers. It ain't like it is today. You could bring washers and dryers into your apartment nowadays in the Fay and Law Homes and all that old shit. Back when I was a kid, you couldn't have a washer and dryer in your apartment. They didn't have the hookups and all that. So everybody used the laundromat. And Mama Birch and them lived directly across the street, a little bit cat-a-corner to the laundromat. But you couldn't go all the time. And one of the things I noticed my grandmother used to do is she would wash my socks and my underwear in the sink with Woolite. And that was just something that I used to always say. As a child, I watched her. She would wash my garments in the sink And then y'all know how it is in the hood, man. You would put your shit hanging out the window or something like that to dry. I know that shit sound ghetto as hell because it was the ghetto. That's what we did. And we would put it in the windowsill so it wouldn't hang out the window, but we put it in the windowsill for everything to dry. And for the real privileged people that live down the way and in the hood, y'all lived in the flats down by Stanley Road Tower. So y'all had the little easy shit. Y'all had the stuff outside. Y'all had the clotheslines outside, and y'all would hang y'all shit outside. We looked down on y'all for that. Y'all had it easy in life. We had to put our shit in the windowsill. Because you couldn't put shit outside. Not like them privileged people over there by Stanley Road. Because if you put your shit outside in Laura Homes, it was gone. So that all being said, I do have this problem. I openly admit to it. My wife's been ordering my socks from Amazon for the last probably 3 years now. And I get the bag of 12 or some shit like that. And just to be honest with you, I put them to good use when I wear them. I used to donate them to like the not the Blonde Boys and Girls Club, but I used to just give my socks to the Boys and Girls Club, and they would take them over to Aiden State and stuff like that. I just been that guy. For some odd reason, we all got our vices. Some of y'all smoke weed all day, every day. You got a joint in your mouth right now. I don't spend my money on weed. I don't spend my money on blow. I don't spend my money on fun activities. I got a problem with my shoes and I got on brand new socks right now. Let me be special. Let me be special in my own kind of way. Yes, it's a problem. And it's a problem because you know how some people say, hey, when I get my own, I'm going to do such and such. Well, that's when I get my own moment. That's it. Hey, let me ask y'all something. I'm moving on. I put a post up yesterday and I need an answer. I need an answer from my family here. I don't care, Ross. Ross says, oh, darn, you didn't made it. You mad at me. No, I'm not, bro. Sorry, the screen was moving. I'm not mad at you, Ross. You know that, bro. You know that. I'm a little tired right now because yesterday, we do a 3-hour show, 3.5-hour show, special guest. You might as well call Emmanuel Livingston special guest yesterday. He was on the phone an hour and a half. People was mad. Let me call in. I had the well on the hook. What I need, I don't need nobody. I didn't need no help. I didn't need any help. I told y'all the basics win. Basics win. People that had these crazy ass perspectives on things, trying to justify, what's his name? Ja Morant riding around with a gun and all this. I don't want to make it all the white man, this, all that old crazy shit, man. I keep the shit basic. And then I want you to answer these basic questions. And then when the basic questions can't get answered, white flag, here it come. That's all. I told y'all, keep it simple. Keep it simple. Now he'll spin y'all. He will spin you. If you're not used to that, I went to school. I mean, I'm prepared for people like that. Look, school could never teach me how to get out of a spin master cycle. Okay, E-Man, I love him to death, but he is spin master. Okay, he is spin master. And if you not, I would say if you didn't go to LSU, if you didn't go to law school or some shit like that, he'll damage you. He'll destroy you. But I'm going to be honest with you. It wasn't LSU that kept me from being able to handle people like Emmanuel. No, it was Law Holmes. It was the pimps, the hoes, and the dope boys that prepared me for people like him. There's no professor on this earth that can stop somebody who ain't got enough sense from getting pimped. There's no mathematician. There's no theory. There's nothing that they can teach you in a major university or a trade school or none of them schools. None of them schools can teach you how not to get pimped. It take the streets. It take your community to teach you how not to get pimped. School don't give you common sense. Now you gotta inherit common sense, or it's got to be taught to you by lessons around you. Yeah, the lessons around you sharpen your common sense. That's as far as I'm concerned. So all that spinning and shit people be doing, man, and trying to make me believe something that I know is obviously wrong. And then they try to, you know, throw the victimization type of situations up in the air. It never works with me. See, Mama Birch, you can test to this. You seen me as a little bitty ass boy. You seen me when I was born. You know my mama. Okay, you know where we from. You know I'm not no silver spoon ass little dude. I'm not that. Yo babies was my brothers and my sisters. We all from the same place. So all that game and shit that people be throwing and all that old shit, that manipulation, guilt, filth, and all that old shit, it don't work with me. Now, if I would have been raised up in Bond Hill like most of y'all, that shit might work with me. If you had your own room growing up and had your friends and everybody was coming over and playing, you know how my kids are raised right now. That shit might work with me if I was raised like that. But I'm from the bottom. You can't run that game on me. You can't run that game on somebody that didn't seen it and recognized it and understand the manipulation game. It don't work on me. Sorry, wrong beat. So that's how I know how to handle it. I know how, see, the one thing that people who really want to spin you, not so much Emmanuel, I'm talking about in general, media members, people that want you to believe victimization is real and it's the great thing, and it's the new woke. People that want to spin you, you got to understand. Yeah, hey, Mama Birch, you know I went to UCLA before I went to any major university. You know that, right? Anybody know what UCLA is? Mama Birch? Y'all know I went to UCLA. I was in UCLA before I made it to elementary school. Before I made it to junior high, I had already went to UCLA. Y'all know what UCLA is? Who heard of UCLA? Raise your hand. Hit the like button if you've ever heard the College of UCLA. Anybody ever heard of UCLA? Y'all ain't never heard of UCLA. Come on now. Hit the like button if you heard of UCLA. Okay, let me tell you what UCLA is. University of Clark, Lynn, and Armory. I started there first. I started on York, Lynn, and Armory. So you can't spin a dude like me, man. I didn't heard it. Ain't nobody about to tell me that we can't do something. It ain't gonna happen. Fuck what y'all talking about. Y'all keep on riding with them dudes that benefit off of you feeling the way you feel. It's all about us, man. We control our own destiny. Trina says, you lost me. You must not be from down the way. You must not be from. Okay, let me explain it. Because for good reason. For good reason. Clark, Lynn, and Armory are surrounding streets in the hood where we from. They sold drugs. They booster shit. You know, it was just the hot spots where we lived. Oh, okay, he said I'm from Southern California. That's why he didn't get that. Because y'all know there is a major university called UCLA out in California. University of California, Los Angeles. That's what it is to them. UCLS to me, pimps. That's right, Mama Birch. She said pimps, the whole nine. And y'all know Mama Birch, don't, I'm not going to target you, Mama Birch, but we know your last name. We know you, Mama Birch Lavender. And if y'all know anything about them lavenders. If y'all know anything about the lavenders, no shots, Mama Birch. You know what I'm talking about. Them lavenders was gangsters. I know you married one. I don't mean it. Don't hurt me. I know the backstory. You know, everybody know what was going on Lynn Street. Everybody know who was the movers and the groovers back in the day. And them lavenders was moving and grooving. Who remember the Callaway's barbershop down on Lynn Street? Now, I was a baby, but I can remember. See, the good thing about being in that environment is I don't know a better lesson in life. I done lived in countries. I've lived in some cities. I've lived, God has blessed me to be in environments. And I don't know an environment yet better than Cincinnati, Ohio, where I grew up. I've learned more lessons as a child than I've learned that rode with me and helped groom me to make the better decisions. Because sometimes, they say you can't learn nothing from a dummy. I learned a lot from dummies. There was a lot of dummies around me. There was a lot of smart people around me. But I learned more lessons by watching how other people moved and the mistakes that they made. I'm just being honest with you. I mean, the times that we had downtown was more brotherhood and sisterhood. And I've never in my life had more family than I did when we were growing up. My childhood friends were my brothers and my sisters. I don't know how else to explain it. I don't know how else to explain it. I mean, it was just a great feeling. And it was almost like one of them things. I remember one of my friends named Sean getting an ass whooping. He got a whooping from his mama, and I cried too. I know, soft ass Randy. He was a soft little mo. No, that was my best friend. When he got hurt climbing a fence and tore his knee and got his knee ripped off, I cried. That was my bro. I cried. They took that little boy. Look, man, when ambulances came in my neighborhood, motherfuckers didn't come back home. When you got put in the ambulance, you didn't see the motherfucker no more. And when they came and picked my partner up off the ground, I ain't think I was gonna see him no more. So when they put him in the ambulance, I'm like, I'm crying and shit. I'm like, my man's gone. Now we was 8, 9 years old? But that's the love we had for one another. That's the same little dude that if somebody put hands on me, I'm gonna tell you another thing. Like Adrian Broner, his daddy, Thomas. We were like that. My bro. Like he wouldn't let nobody put no hands on me. We was family. His granny was my granny. My granny was his granny. Everybody called my grandmother Granny, just like me. Where is that environment today? Where is that today? Is that gone? I don't live there anymore. I don't know. It don't even look the same anymore. But in your neighborhood, is it like that? I remember my sister on here, Tracy Dillingham, saying some shit about how the Mexicans or the foreigners in her community don't even speak. Maybe because they wasn't raised that way. Sis, we different. White folks in the white communities, they wake up every morning, go get the paper. I know, I watch them. Go out, get their paper, and wave at the whole damn community. Good morning, world. How the fuck is everybody today? Isn't it nice to be alive and well today? They do that. You know what we say? What up, everybody? Mind your business. Mind your business. Mind your motherfucking business. What? What? That's how we do each other. I'm just saying. I love to see people do well. Personally, I love to see people eat. I love to see people get things. I love to see them accomplish. I love it. I'll be honest with you, man. The only time that I hate on somebody, if you want to call this hate, and I'm openly going to say this is hate from me, is I hate when I see somebody who's fooling somebody who thinks that they making them happy. Now that's some hate shit come from me. I really will. I look down on people that are manipulating people and tricking them into making them believe like they got something. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's probably why I come on the podcast. I was watching a podcast yesterday, just a clip, and it was, again, I think it was Drink Champs. And Drink Champs was interviewing $1 Million Worth of Game. And these two are they're both black podcasters. And Drink Champs asked the one Wallow and them, like, bro, what was up with you and Joe Budden and them bumping heads and this and this and that? And he was like, man, we ain't got no beef, bro. We just, I just don't like the fact that, when he talk about things, he talk about people. And we shouldn't put each other out there like that and blah, blah, blah. And that's what $1 Million Worth of Game said. And Drink Champs was like, well, I don't really think that he talk about him in a way that's like malice. I think what he's doing is trying to say some things to make things better. He recognized that sometimes criticism come off wrong. When you criticize somebody, sometimes they think you talking down to them, when in fact, maybe you and I see a problem that needs to be corrected. And everybody that hears, when you hear criticism, you affiliate it with hate. Well, the last time I checked, criticism can improve you in a couple different ways. So why do we affiliate criticism with hate? Is it the way the criticism may be delivered? Is it the fact that you just think that whatever they're telling you, they just on some hate and shit because maybe they not leveled up like you, or maybe they failed at something and now they trying to tell you? So you be like, oh man, you just hating on my spot. It don't always have to be hate. And we got to get away from that. We got to get away from that every time somebody trying to tell us something is it's hate. And I just, the only time I criticize is when I see something wrong, blatantly wrong. So if I say something about a radio station or a podcast station, that's not me hating on a black person or a show or an individual type position. If I see something that I can call, and I have a different perspective on, then I'm gonna bring it to everybody's attention. And if we don't have that back and forth, then we don't have learning and we don't have teaching and learning anymore. If everybody's okay just using Heinz ketchup because we was raised on Heinz ketchup, and you don't go to the grocery store and make a choice on your own, if you're not willing to let me tell you, okay, well, ABC company make a dope ass ketchup. You ever ate at such and such restaurant? Try their ketchup on that hamburger. That got ABC ketchup on it. Oh, it do? They sell that at Kroger's? See, you just learned that there's more ketchups other than Heinz. Some of y'all may not understand that analogy because I've done my Heinz ketchup analogy. Some of us don't want a different perspective. We don't want our minds changed. We're comfortable feeling the way we feel. We're comfortable. Comfortability is something that we as Americans really, really want to continue. We want to stay in our space and feel good about it. We become complex. And I've never been that kid. To be honest with you, I grew up taking chances my entire life. So being uncomfortable is a normal feeling for me. Being risky and not knowing. I've lost almost every job I've ever been in my life because I knew that I was in the wrong place. And I didn't want to be complex. I didn't want to get comfortable being somewhere that I didn't want to be. Y'all understand what I'm saying? I didn't want to work there. So I didn't make myself work there and feel comfortable. I didn't find a comfortable space in a place that I didn't want to be. So I did what I did until I would work there or do what I need to do until I didn't have to be there anymore. But then guess what? You know what felt more comfortable? Being uncomfortable. Going out and like, okay, I was getting a steady check every Friday, every other Friday, whatever. I'm getting this check, but I don't want to be here. I hate this job. And that was such an uncomfortable feeling. But I didn't like that uncomfortable feeling. If I'm going to feel uncomfortable, I got to feel uncomfortable doing something for a bigger picture. I got to have a purpose for my uncomfortability. I had a purpose when I was working every day and getting that check, but that purpose was to get up out of there. It wasn't to find comfort and space somewhere I didn't want to be. It was not that. There's only one thing in my life, and I will never expose it on this show, and I will never tell it to anyone, There's only one uncomfortable feeling that I've ever had to deal with, and I can't change that uncomfortable feeling, and it's because of my obligations in life. Outside of that, everything else is under my control. Even that's under my control, but I'm willing to be uncomfortable for the bigger picture. That's just me. All right, let's get to it. I put a post up the other day. Good morning for everybody. It's 10 o'clock, so I know the made up minds are already gone. No shots, just saying. I put a post up yesterday. They need to hear this. They already gone. See, I do this purposely. I generally go into the things that I know they're not talking about at 10 o'clock. Not because I'm trying to compete or anything like that. I just want to show you what I be saying be on some real shit. What I mean is, when there's real legitimate questions that need to be asked about administrations and how people are doing things, a lot of people aren't asking those real questions. A lot of people aren't asking them questions. They'll find everything in the world. They'll find a fight at Kings Island. They'll find a situation that happened in the park. They'll find some white man under a rock all the way down in Louisiana or in Alabama. They'll find a telephone call or a hidden tape about how people act and this and that. It'll never be about real issues. Because if you ask real issue questions right now, then you would have to hold certain people accountable. And if you have to ask people, well, what you feel about this and what you feel about that, the only real good answer they can give you is, I don't think the politicians I voted for are doing things right. That's got to be a very hard thing to say about people that you have been defending. You thought everybody else was crazy. You thought everybody else was a coon. You thought everybody else was nuts. I just got one question for some people. And then I'm going to put this post up, I promise. Do you think that every black man that may not think like you, or every black woman that may not think like you, do you think they've been manipulated to think differently? Or do you think that they may have their own circle that they stand on, and the reason why they feel the way they feel is because of the things that they may have experienced in life, the things that they may have been able to accomplish in life? You know, I generally look at people when they try to tell me something, and the first thing I ask myself is, I'm going to listen to them, but the first thing I ask myself is, what are their experiences? If the only experience that you have in life is listening to other people, you're limited. I want to know where you've been and what you've been through. Where have you been? What have you been through for you to be able to have this conversation? That's why when y'all say things, when people be arguing with me or trying to debate with me, that's fine. I'm cool. I'll listen to different perspectives. And you know what? As wrong as I think somebody may be, I don't shut them down. I just say I don't agree with that. And the reason why I don't shut them down is because they may be speaking from a perspective of where they've been in life, what they have been through. What they have been through puts them where that gives them their perspective. That's the only reason why I do that. So I don't be like, oh, yeah, hell no, you wrong. Because in their world, they may be right. Because I don't know what they've been experienced. And I don't know what they experienced. And see, if I'm going to gauge my feelings and how I see things in life based on the things that I've been through, why wouldn't it be fair for me to allow somebody to think differently of me, of whatever we talking about, because of what they have been through? So I ain't never really gonna shit down on somebody. I'll be like, nah, you wrong. From where I come from, you wrong. But maybe you're right based on what you've been through. I've never walked through the fire that you walked through. Or if I have walked through that same fire, now you got your hands full. Because now we're gonna go toe to toe, blow for blow. Don't tell me some shit that I've been through just like you, and we come up with a different outcome. And now you're gonna argue with me how wrong I am. Okay, now we gonna go. Ding, ding. The bell has rung. All right, so listen. I put a post up. This is how I know when I do some real shit, fam. This is how I know I do some real shit. Whenever I put a post up, like, okay, y'all know the other day I put this one up. Let me see if I can find it. Well, let me go way back. A few months ago, I put this one up. Brittany Griner now stand for the national anthem. Y'all remember that? I got some blowback for that. Let me put it up again. I'm sorry. I got blowback for that. That's when everybody, all the chaos agents, a few, wanted to come in and say some shit, put this kind of little post up, made a little mark. The 4 hearts down there was early in my post, right? And it was people that don't listen to the show, that listen to the radio, even relatives of the people over on the radio. They loved the fact that somebody went in on me, told me to shut the fuck up, sit on down, and all that old shit. Well, sometime later, Brittany Griner got her ass up and started looking up respectfully at the Pledge of Allegiance and blah, blah, blah. And then I put another post out, just here recently saying, hey, I ain't going to get no love. I ain't going to get no apologies. I'm not going to, I put this post out. Brittany Griner now says that the national anthem hit different. I ain't getting no response off of that. The same chaos agents that told me to sit the fuck down and I'm being misogynistic and all, the nerd words they just learned how to say over COVID lockdown. They attacked me for having a real perspective, asking a real question. Well, yesterday I put another post out from some shit that's been going on in the world. I asked this question. Is Cincinnati a sanctuary city? My bad, I don't want to open up a can of worms. Wyatt. Hashtag 2017. Some people know exactly what I meant by that. Some people know exactly what I meant when I asked that question. Let me put it up again so you can see it. That's on my Facebook page. When I know I hit a nerve with motherfuckers and when they know they wrong and they know they wrong and they better not. They better not engage. They better not hit the click. This is when I know I say some real shit. People ignore it. This is when you're dealing in a market whose mind is made up. Because nobody can come in and justify it. Nobody can come in and say anything. They already 2 steps ahead of the quote or the post. And it's like, if I say some shit, now I got to really try to explain why I felt the way I felt the first time and I was wrong. So I can't justify what I said then. And I certainly can't fuck with this code. Fuck him. That's where it is. Fuck him. He don't know nothing. So now Cincinnati, same people who are unaffected by this border and the immigration and the migrants that are coming in here illegally that I was talking about 2.5 years ago. You can't say anything now. Y'all tried to make me feel, you tried to make it seem like that I was attacking immigration and migrants. It was never that. It was never that, slow dummy. It was never that. You know what it was? It was exactly what's going on right now. And y'all know I can go back to the archives and get what I said. I said, who is it going to affect when they get here more so? Is it going to affect the people in the suburbs? Is it going to affect certain schools? Is it going to affect? No, it's going to affect the same people that voted for these policies. And now what are they doing now? Bitching and complaining because it's affecting them. They banked on their politicians. They said everybody was evil, slow, and nasty, and racist, and this, and this, and this, and that. And now your same politicians that look like you and the shit that you're voting for are putting you on the back seat of everything. Have you heard what they're talking about in California right now? We're not talking about the reparations thing. They're putting a bill together right now in California to get illegal. And I'm going to say this. It's going to sound insensitive because I don't like saying anybody's illegal. But when you come to a country illegally, that makes you an illegal immigrant. That's the definition of an illegal immigrant. Okay? If you're not a citizen and you didn't get here the right way through a port of entry, you're here illegally. But my whole point was this. Everybody and anybody that knows me know that I support immigration. I'm big on immigration. I support immigration. I've had friends, I guarantee you, I don't want to say this about everybody because when I start saying my life, then y'all think I'm trying to be better. But I can guarantee you I've probably had more more of a diverse friendship with people across this world than most people that I know. I've had Samoan friends, I've had Asian friends. I'm not suggesting that nobody here hasn't had any foreign friends, but I've lived in 3 countries. Okay? I have friends across the world. I don't know them now, but I've had friends at a young age across the world. And I've never had a problem with racism and all that old shit until I get back here. Then we talk about it and it's a big issue all the time. And it seems to be the speed bump of progress in some people's eyes. So I'm a firm believer in immigration because I watch immigrants come to this country and tear it up. And when I say tear it up, I mean come here and take advantage of the benefits, the schooling. People are here in the United States of America that plan on going back to their country. They just using the country for the education. They come here on visas. They come here on work permits, get the money, send it back home, live better at home. Fuck America. Y'all ain't doing what y'all want to do with us, blah, 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 whatever. I don't know what they say. I know what they do. I support immigration. But now let me explain this one right here. I'd like to ask the black folks that are out in California. See, sometimes I can see things coming before some people do because I watch the politicians. I watch who get them in office, and it's not the voters. Don't fool yourself. Don't think because you voted for John Bob and all them dudes. Don't think that because you voted for them that you put them in office. Who put them in office is who signed the check, the $5 million contribution to the campaign. That's what it is. It's the people it's the people who put up the money who get the people in office. It's not your vote. You think it is, but what you don't understand is the money is what made you vote for them. The money is what paid for the smear campaigns. The money is what paid for them to be sitting in these town hall meetings in front of your churches and shit because the contribution that went to your church came from that politician. The money that came from that politician came from his donor. I know. It's starting to catch on a little bit now. So they never really owe down to the voter. They owe down to the campaign contributor, the person that's giving them the money. So I always pay attention not to the voter base. I pay attention to who gives the money to the politician that grabs the voter base. What is the motive of the campaign donor? The George Soros of the world. The people who give up the money. You think I'm going to give a contribution to a judge in my city or state or wherever? I'm going to give a donation to a judge that I know ain't going to do the right thing? No, I'm going to contribute to a judge who understands my principles and my morals, who understands that small crimes lead up to larger crimes. That's just me. But that's how I spend my money. So think about it. Just use me on a small scale. Shouldn't you pay attention at who I send my donations to? That explains who I am. You watch how people spend their money and they'll tell you who they are. You watch how people accept money and who they accept money from. It tells you who they are. So now, I don't know if y'all seen this or not, but there's a bill that's being worked up on right now in the state of California. And I know Gavin Newsom, I think his name is, the governor out there is Newsom or Gavin Newsom or some shit like that. I know he's an idiot. I know he's one of them guys that just, he's a virtual signal dude. He puts up a whole lot of different shit to make it seem like he's going to do something for you. And then when it don't pass, he has somebody to blame. He'll blame someone. He'll make it seem like it's somebody else's fault that his never gonna happen ass agenda didn't work out. That's usually what happens. That's how they excuse how they didn't accomplish something. And The thing is, I just pay attention to where the money go. Sorry, I just got a text message. It's always something. And my daughter just texted me. I just pay attention to where the money goes. I pay attention to what the politicians talk about and what they put on the forefront of the table. I know the difference between chaos and really wanting to get something done. And this bill that they showing out here in I don't know what California is really, what y'all thinking. At the same time, y'all talking about this reparation for black folks in the state that never had slavery. You're talking $1 trillion in payouts. It's never going to happen. They're already like 32 trillion dollars or something, $32 billion in debt that they can't pay off now. How is that ever going to happen? Where's that money going to come from? It can't come from the state. The government will never give it to you. And now you out there putting a bill together for immigrants, illegal immigrants, to get, what is it? To get unemployment. Come on, folks. This is real talk. They're out there trying to give immigrants, illegal immigrants, $300 a week of unemployment. Come on, folks. Come on, folks. Why? Why is that even a conversation, California? Y'all don't see the trick bag? I don't mean to say I'm trying to dumb it down or talk down on anybody, but do I have to explain everything? How do you think a person out there feels? How do you think a black person feel? They pushing all these immigrants in our communities across the country. It's your politician that you voted for to do it. And now they want to give them unemployment benefits? Unemployment benefits. Let me think. I haven't worked for someone in many years. But now let me ask you something. If you don't go to work for 2 years, when you get back into the workforce, go get a job and it only lasts 3 weeks, and then get fired or something, and then go apply for unemployment. It's going to be very difficult for you to get unemployment benefits if you haven't paid into the benefits. Has anybody ever tried to get unemployment benefits without ever putting into the unemployment benefit pot? How is that ever going to happen? Who would even propose that for immigrants? I just played a video the other day that the radio and the podcast, they'll never play this shit about the immigrants. The people of Chicago are suffering already, and they sitting here now. The black folks are screaming and hollering about the immigrants being pulled into their communities, taking up resources that they never opened up for that own community. How is that possible? How do you discover all these resources for someone else, but you didn't have the resources for us when we've been here? They're protesting in New York right now because they're putting immigrants, grown-ass men, in gyms of schools. They're not going to private schools saying, hey, can we lease some space from you? Can we do, hey, y'all getting tax structured abatements and things like that for your property, private school. We need this gym. We're going to house 150 immigrants. Grown men, we're going to use your gym since you're getting these tax abatements on your property. They're not doing that. You know what they're using? All public school properties. Where are most public school properties? In our communities. These are unvetted, which means they've done no background checks of past crimes, past, rapes, anything. And you want to put them around our children? Unvetted. Politicians don't have a problem with that. Sound like fear mongering, don't it, y'all? You let the radio or you let the people that go against what I say, or the people that don't believe what I say, or the people that have been shook and drived and they still ain't woke up to this shit yet. You let them hear what I'm saying and they'll tell you right now that I'm racist. They'll say, "Oh, you on some more shit. Oh, bro, you've been watching such and such news. You've been this and this and that. You've been you on that bullshit. You've been fooled, bro." No. Quite the contrary, brother. I got the proof. There's people actually saying what's going on. The reason why you still rocking and rolling and sleeping slow to the beat is because the shit ain't hit Cincinnati. It ain't where you live. The people of Chicago will tell you right now what I'm saying is accurate because now they see it. A year ago, they would have said the same thing you saying to me. But now that they affected, even the church coming out. Even the pastors are now coming out like, whoa. Sometimes you can spray paint the wall and you can put the graffiti up and it can be as clear as day what it says. And some people will only see it as graffiti. They won't even read the wall. And that's how lost some of these folks are. Or they have an agenda placed into the chaos. You know, you got some people that they call themselves freedom fighters or for the community and this and this and that. And they'll sit back and scream and holler when some shit go down and they'll play their role. They'll dread their hair. They can be dark skinned. They'll even wear African attire. They'll kumbaya your ass all the way to wearing the medallions of the Africa and everything. And might have their own personal agenda. And it may not include black folks. It's probably personal for them. I told you I'm from 1335 John Street. I had some fake ass Muslims one time. Why was Muslims robbing banks and shit? I grew up with dudes that was on the streets. You talk all that old shit. I'm sure you snuck a ham sandwich in your arsenal somewhere down the line. If you gonna be a Muslim, that means don't rob banks and do all that old shit. You robbing banks and grocery stores and shit. But you assalamu alaikum motherfuckers all day. No shot to Muslims, not real ones, but them fake ones was brother bean pie buying ass dudes all day. They was talking that Muslim shit. And they was building their own agenda. They was building their own guys to be able to do the crimes and shit they wanted to do. And they used the Muslim, you know, the cleanness and pureness of being a Muslim as the shield. They were fake. That don't mean Muslims. I'm speaking of these particular individuals. They had the dialogue. They had it all down. They knew all the terminology. They knew the mosque numbers. They knew everything. They went to Chicago. They visited shit, but they was robbing banks. Fuck out of here. So the reason why I asked this question is very simple. Some might already know where I'm at with it. I asked this question for this reason. I said, is Cincinnati a sanctuary city? And the reason why I said, oh, my bad, I don't want to open a can of worms is because guess what? How would Cincinnati feel? How would we feel in Cincinnati right now if 1,000 immigrants came to Cincinnati? What would AFTAB do? What would the mayor of Cincinnati do? Because this is a sanctuary city. And see, our government is not doing anything about immigration. They're not helping. They didn't help Texas for 2 years. They didn't help Florida for 2 years. And they still haven't. They haven't helped California. They haven't helped these cities, these states, and who were bombarded, these cities that were bombarded with immigration. And the reason why we don't talk about it is because it don't affect us. But I was way steps ahead of this shit when I said, okay, your radios and all that shit ain't talking about it, but you gonna talk about it when it affects you. And that's bullshit. That's like this. It's like this. Isn't that the same philosophy of this? You'll call a police officer racist, a white police officer racist because his partner who is bad and racist did something, but you didn't say anything about it. So that makes you just as bad. Don't that play into the same thing of if you are in a city and you see what's going on with these immigrants down in Texas, getting eaten by alligators, killing themselves to get to this country, ill-humane way to how they're dealt with. You don't really have anything to say about 13 and 12-year-old, 11-year-old girls coming up pregnant due to human trafficking, them coming here. You don't want that to cease and desist. You just rather put your head in the sand because it's not affecting you. You're no different than the white police officer who had a racist partner who didn't say anything, and you classify that person as being racist along with the bad police officer. You're just as bad as that person. Sorry. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. You only want to bitch and complain. You want to have selective outrage only when it affects you. You'll yell and scream about a dude getting choked on the train, and because it was a white dude that choked a black dude, you want to give him all the time in the world. But I don't hear anybody hollering about how much time these little dudes should get for shooting up a Sweet 16 party. I don't hear nothing about that. All y'all can say is, oh man, they crazy. I didn't hear one person saying, man, throw them little dudes in a chair. Put the, all the shit you were saying. They ain't got no right. I ain't heard nobody say no shit like, they ain't have no right to take that little 14-year-old boy's life. 13-year-old girl is changed forever. I don't hear that. I don't hear that. I couldn't live in California if it was free. I wouldn't live in California if it was free. And the reason being is because the virtual cell, I'd fuck around and just do something bad out there. I'd stand on top of the building naked until everybody heard me. Oh, that's a bad sight. Let's go to the phone lines real fast. Let me see what we got. Good morning, caller. This is Wyatt. Who am I speaking with?
What up, Wyatt? This your number one fan, Drop Squad 52 out here on the left coast, also known as the People's Republic of California. What up, Wyatt?
Good luck. I mean, what's up? Good morning. I was trying to say good morning, but I did say good luck. And I mean both. Good luck to you.
I could tell by your last comment saying you wouldn't live in California if they paid you.
No, I wouldn't live there if it was free.
Well, Wyatt, it's a reason that this task force was put in place. Just to refresh your memory, Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, was recalled a couple of years ago. And the number one candidate to take his place was conservative radio talk show host Larry Elder, also known as the black face of white supremacy. That was the name given to him when he went against Gavin Newsom. So Wyatt, that was when this reparations task force was put in place. Now, real quick, in the 2020 census, state of California, 39 million people. Black people, 2.24 million. It's only 5.7% of the state of California. Now, Wyatt, the Hispanic population, I'm not even going to say that number, but it's more than double of African Americans.
Of course.
And again, this is the headline, okay? Wyatt, the headline
Isn't it
today.
About 18%? Huh? Isn't it about 19% Hispanic?
Yeah. I didn't even want to get a number out because of all the immigrants that have come through the California southern border, which you don't hear about. Right. The only border you hear about is Texas because it's a Republican governor.
Right.
You got New Mexico, you got Arizona, and you got California.
Right.
Okay. But here in California, the Hispanic numbers have been changing almost daily, Wyatt. So that's why I didn't want to give those numbers based on the 2020 census.
I understand.
All right. So this is the headline on ABC News website. Black Californians hope state reparations do not become another broken promise. California's first in the nation Black Reparations Task Force is nearing the end of its historic work with a hefty list of recommendations for lawmakers to consider turning into action. Now, Wyatt, when you change your subject on your show and you brought this up, I'm like, bam, I gotta open it. Because Wyatt, again, you are so important for Black folks in Cincinnati and all over the country because you're blowing up on YouTube. So you got young people listening to you on YouTube. You got the old folks on Facebook. Shout out to the Wyatt Live Facebook community. But I'm pretty sure the age of your audience is well over 45. So again, Wyatt, you keep pointing out this chaos that's happening with the Black community when it comes to the desperate Democrat Party. And again, 2024, I'm telling you, Wyatt, just keep your eyes open and keep your ears to the grindstone, because people like you, people who have podcasts like yourself, all over social media, these young people are starting to hear. They're starting to get the message that, hey, I don't know about this Democrat Party led by old ass Sleepy Joe, but we're gonna wait and see. They bring a Barack out. Maybe he got some kind of new project coming out on Hulu or something. But Barack been opening his mouth lately. But he'll never talk about Black issues, Wyatt. Please help me out, brother.
No, here's the thing. The reason why they're bringing him, he's the life raft. He's the life raft. Whenever they need people whenever they start losing the regular, the regular Blacks, whenever they start losing him and it's time, they bring him out like they did in the voting, the last minute when it was down to, Joe Biden and them voting. They brought him out in the last minute to rejuvenate the crowd. You got
and because they saw the numbers that Trump was getting from the Black community.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you got to understand. Look, man, nothing's changed. You could sit back and see this shit.
Why again? Like I told you, brother.
Yeah, I mean,
this is an election year. It's the reason they coming at Donald Trump the way they coming at him, Wyatt.
Well, bro. I mean, come on.
And I'm telling you, because of what's happening with Eric Adams in New York, what just happened in Chicago.
Did you hear what Eric Adams? Did you hear what Eric Adams just said about the new mayor of New York? Did you hear what he just said about the federal government?
You mean the new mayor of Chicago?
Oh, I'm sorry. Eric Adams is Chicago. Wait,
hold on, Wyatt.
No, Eric Adams is New York.
Is in New York.
Right.
Brandon Johnson is the new mayor in Chicago.
Okay, did you hear what Eric Adams from New York said about the government here last time? I mean, he just said it like yesterday or the day before yesterday about immigration.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And what it is before this was not a problem. Remember when all this immigration shit? Well, no. Seriously. They've never said anything about California. They've never said anything about Texas. They've never said anything what's happening in Florida. It's never been an issue until you dropped all these people into these sanctuary cities.
Well, Wyatt, there's a news report out that when Title 42 was lifted last Thursday, right? The Mexican government and the Biden administration coordinated to make sure that there was not a rush at the border after the lifting of Title 42. The next day, the headline news, see, Republicans and the Fox News, they lied. It ain't no rush, they lied. So now it's back to the way it was before Title 42 was lifted. There's no more coverage of the border. But the people are still there, Wyatt.
No, let me help. Let me help 1 second. You're right, but let me tell you why there's no big rush. The reason why is because Gavin Newsom, not Gavin Newsom, but DeSantis and a few other governors have gone ahead and let free some of their military. Okay, they're spending their own state money to send troops down, reserves down to the border to stop people from coming in. That's the only reason why the numbers stayed steady. And that's why Biden is sitting there. I don't even know why people like that motherfucker. No, seriously, bro. No jokes, man. I hate when people, I don't like this shit because it's real. It's real fucked up. He is sitting in a chair, literally being asked by media about the border crisis and things. And he fucking laughing. Has a laugh, a smirk, a white supremacist smirk on his face. You see, I mean, literally, bro, I don't mean to be nasty. I don't want you laughing at what I'm saying. It's hurting my feelings that you're laughing. But I'm being honest with you, bro. I'm just being honest. The smirk on this motherfucker eats ice cream during real issues. I'm looking at
your face, Wyatt.
Then you know I'm passionate about what I'm saying. And I hate the fact that my people are falling for this bullshit. and then we look at each other and call each other names when one get it and one don't. It puzzles me, Drop, that they could sit there and watch him, Kamala Harris, and the House Speaker and the other dude sit there, and this motherfucker has a laugh on his face when he's being asked serious fucking questions about kids crossing this border, pregnant, being eaten, dying, and now they're invading the black communities and taking resources from the black community, and this motherfucker won't say nothing. And his press secretary is saying, I'm going to defer that question somewhere that it can't be answered.
But why, again, you got to understand, 88% of black folks vote for the Democrat team.
And I can tell you this, Drop. Hold on, Drop.
Right
hold
now,
on, Drop. And I'm going to say this to my crowd right now. They are not telling you what needs to be talked about. Sorry, Drop. I shouldn't have cut you, bro. It's just I'm passionate.
Go ahead. I love it, bro. Because I got a lot of time on the shot clock. So keep talking.
My people are not listening to this on the radio right now. You know what? They'll find something way different to listen to. They'll pull up a track star or a track coach of what some white man then said who's totally irrelevant to all of us in our lives. He makes no policies. He makes no decisions. They ain't talking about the real shit. They keeping you in place. And you know who paying their checks? Think about who's signing their checks. Think about it. Just think about
it.
Al Sharpton.
Al Sharpton. It's the white supremacy.
Listen, man, you're going to make me go to this video again. No, seriously. I mean, I hate to say it, man, but look, bro, I go ahead. Say what you say, man.
Why? Okay. Why? All I was going to say was that it's 88% of black folks that support the Democrats. The numbers are starting to go down, but Joe Biden is the starting quarterback now, okay? And he knows he knows what team he's on. So he knows that those people, us, black people, are going to be there for him. All he's got to do is hold a position, okay? Because it's just, I'll give you a perfect analogy. The Dallas Cowboys have a label as America's team, Wyatt. America's team. They got a 90-seat stadium that's packed every Sunday to watch America's team. But they ain't won a fucking Super Bowl since Deion Sanders.
Right.
So the point that I'm trying to make, Wyatt, don't let the face or the starting quarterback for the Democrats frustrate you, because he's just there to hold the position, just like Barack Obama was there to hold the position. And he was historic because he was the first black president elected by this white supremacist nation twice.
Right.
Black people only 14% of the population.
Right.
White folks elected a black president twice in our lifetime. Wyatt.
Not racist America. That's impossible.
But the point is, he did not fulfill the expectations of black America and white America.
Of course he didn't. I mean,
he was the quarterback of the team.
But hold
on.
The
first black quarterback for the Democrat team.
Here's what I would ask the marvelous, the most articulate, the greatest race fighter in the world, Al Sharpton, and that is, Mr. Sharpton, what did Barack Obama do for the community that you support the hardest? What did he specifically do? That man
I just laugh when you mention these race hustlers and poverty.
But is it not a legitimate? Is it not a legitimate question that you can ask that man?
But he's not going to give you the answer that you want, Wyatt. That's what I keep telling you, bro.
Yeah, but that's a better answer than none. I'd rather take his diversion answer than no answer at all. Because a diversion,
but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to the team. To the team, Wyatt, it doesn't matter. That's why, again, Barack Obama is back in the headlines because he's got a project coming out on Hulu. It's a documentary.
I know.
But the reporter asked him a question about what keeps him up at night. Mm-hmm. Now, Wyatt, the audio is out there. You just got to find it. But this black man, the first black president, had the audacity to say that the thing that keeps him up at night is the unfair and unbalanced news on Fox.
Yeah.
He's talking about the media.
Yeah, I heard it.
This is the first black president with all this shit that's happening across this country in black communities. And the thing that keeps the first black president up at night is fucking Fox News.
He didn't say this clip that I'm about to play right now in his own hometown of Chicago. Watch this.
All these resources that have not come to us, now you want to overly compensate for people who never lived here before, and we need to be taken care of first and foremost before anything else happens here.
Why would any leader put our black communities already riddled with crime at further risk by placing unvetted non-taxpayers steps away from our seniors, our children, and our homes we've worked so hard on our own to secure?
We are at war, people. Our communities are at war. They are violating our communities, and we asking that we across the country, and we asking and we're demanding for office of Black America, or whatever you want to call it, to deal with issues like this.
That's right.
I did get placed on a wait list, but I was told that the immigrants was taking priority. See, that's a story that a lot of people don't know, and it hurt me. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I understand we need to be humanitarian, but these people my participants are third and fourth generation Chicagoans, born, bred, fed, and raised here. My grandmother, Mayrella Carrington, rest in peace, always said, Craig, charity starts at home first, and then it go abroad.
Politically, having over 500 people in our community would completely wipe out any interest we have.
Many of these migrants have been dumped in our neighborhoods without a plan in place to monitor and house them long term.
I'm not selling nothing. And I keep telling people, you don't have to move. If you sell, they going to come in. If we don't sell, we got to stand strong and go.
That's right. We're just getting started.
Now, how much do you bet, Drop? How much do you bet in my community where we talk about black issues on the radio all day? I bet you nobody's listening to that. I bet you they won't play that over the cell phone, over the air, and listen how the black people in Chicago have been mistreated. And why didn't Barack Obama, who said he loses sleep at night because of what Fox News is talking about, why don't that make him lose any sleep at night? And that's his own city of Chicago. Why don't that make him lose sleep at night?
But see, again, Wyatt, you got to understand what team he's on. Okay. Now, again, this is the and Obama's getting roasted for his response. He said, political polarization, climate change, and the rapid rise of social media. Wyatt, that's you, brother. That's your voice. That is black and that is not Democrat. Okay, because you don't really say which political affiliation you are, but the fact that you are black and you do not spout the Democrat rhetoric, you are a problem. So you would think that within the black community, coming from the first black president, he would encourage more voices and more information. But nope, they don't want it, Wyatt. They want to keep black people, keep that 88% on the same team.
And Drop,
they can afford to lose a couple,
and Drop,
but they cannot lose too many.
And Drop, that's why a president of the United States can go to a HBCU and give a speech about white supremacy. He feels comfortable going in there saying that shit. And then when the president said that nonsense, he said that white supremacy is the biggest fear. It's the biggest threat to our nation. White supremacy. That's what he said.
That's what Biden said.
That's what I said. I said the president.
Okay.
I said the president went in there and said that shit. And then guess what he said right after he said it? He said what he always said, and he said what liars do. They back themselves up by making sure, oh, you don't believe me, do you? You don't believe me. You know, that's how liars back themselves up in a corner by making people, they try to stress their point so heavily that they don't feel comfortable in saying what they say. So they have to stress it to people. So Biden says this after he says that nonsense. He says, no. I'm not just saying that because I'm at an HBCU. I'm saying that because I mean it, man. And you know,
no, wait, hold it, Wyatt.
Hold on, bro.
Wyatt, you misquoting our president.
Bro, that's
he said. He said, I'm not just saying that because I'm at a black HBCU. I say it everywhere I go.
Right.
Wyatt,
I get it.
Come on, Wyatt. This is Joe Biden. This is the same man that said Barack Obama is clean and articulate. It's a storybook. And then another white Democrat said Barack can speak with a Negro dialect. Wyatt, this man, black people see through him. And I'm
well, some of them do. Some of us do.
No, I'm telling you, Wyatt, the only reason he won in 2020 was because of what happened with the pandemic and how voting rules and regulations were changed because of that.
Here's one thing. You know what, bro? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to say this to you in your face. I respect you. But let me tell you where you are so wrong in so many places. You bring good element. You really passionate about what you say, and I understand your philosophy of being black, not Democrat. I understand all of that. But let me tell you the biggest thing that you're missing. Do you know in the pimp game that there's some listen. There are some this is gonna sound very untasteful, but it's the truth because I gotta say this to make my point. Okay, bro, please don't laugh. Okay, don't do that because people won't take me serious. All right, listen.
All right.
Let me tell you what happens in the pimp game, bro. This is real talk. Okay. There are some intelligent people that are being told what to do in that game. Okay, like some of the people that work for the PIMP are very important. I mean, very smart, but they can't. But the leader is smarter. Do you understand what I'm saying? The leader is smarter than them, and that's what we're running into right now. As much as you keep saying that people didn't already figured them out, and people starting to learn about Biden and learning this and this and this and this and that, it's not a matter of the people believing or understanding. The leadership has to change. If the leadership doesn't change, brother, then it's not going to, you're not going to get the people. The people are who lead, the leaders are who lead the people. You're never going to change Al Sharpton's mind because Al Sharpton get paid off of that. Al Sharpton has a voice in the community and he'll continue to lead his people that way. You're never going to take over his people. You got to take over the leadership of those people. And if you never get that pimp out of the way, then you ain't going to never get his girls. You're never going to get the situation that he's controlling. You're never going to get that drop. So you keep trying to say that the people are starting to learn. No, they not. No,
yes, they are. Wyatt.
Well,
okay.
They are in a sense because you got to get to the extreme of what's going on in Chicago. You heard what the people said in the tape. You heard what they said in the tape. And they said, listen, man, we got to be careful who we vote for.
But he didn't say none of those people, Wyatt, none of those black people in Chicago said that voting for Democrats caused this. No. And that's what I was telling you yesterday or whatever the last time I talked. Why Brandon Johnson won in Chicago. It was because black people in Chicago felt that Lori Lightfoot, another Democrat, did not go far enough in supporting the black community. So Brandon Johnson, again, a member of the same team.
I disagree.
Just a different quarterback.
I disagree. I think
but again, Wyatt, like you said, until the front office changes their philosophy, what happens on the field.
So basically,
they may change the quarterback, they may change a wide receiver.
Basically, what needs to happen is Chicago need to sell the team. That's what needs to happen. That's all that needs to happen because you're never going to get.
That's not going to happen.
Well,
I'll tell you why it's not going to happen because in Chicago they fill the stadium up every election. That's why they're not going to change.
Well, that's why I don't care.
Until those seats, which means the voters, until they stop showing up, that's when ownership is going to start making some changes.
Right, I understand.
But until that happens, they'll change the quarterback, they'll change the wide receiver, but it's still the same team, Wyatt,
I understand.
just with a different look.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you. Until they're never going to change the people because they can't change. If they change the leadership, then it'll change the people. And as long as Chicago...
No, the people changed the leadership. Why are you not listening to me, brother?
I hear you, but that don't mean I agree with you, because I'm saying something different than what you're saying. I hear exactly what you're saying, and I'm telling you the only reason why Chicago keep getting what it's getting is because the people keep going in voting for their leadership. The leadership, if the leadership is okay, then it's the people. If the people continue to follow the leadership, then it's their fault.
Okay.
They're getting what they vote for.
Wyatt. Okay, so again, Wyatt. Lori Lightfoot, a Democrat. Brandon Johnson, a Democrat. Eric Adams, a Democrat. Okay? The difference between all three is how they deal with the issues in their city. And they always say, Washington, D.C. may take a local issue and make it national, but it's the local people that will solve the problem, not Washington.
Well, okay, I get it. I understand. I'm gonna get up off of that right now. I got another story.
Let me just say this one thing before I go about the first black president. He said that the rise of social media is what kept him up at night, Wyatt.
Okay.
He was the first president to use social media to get young people to the polls.
I know.
Now that he can't control social media,
now it's a problem.
Him and the desperate Democrats.
So
now it's a problem.
Now it's a problem. I get it. Go ahead and sign us out. Do your outro.
Okay,
drop.
all right. But before I go, I want to give a shout out to Brenda Harris. She out there on the track. She out there working for better health and better life. And she out there listening to Wyatt Live.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to give a shout out to Brenda Harris and everybody else who out there, because I'm walking while retired. I don't know if Brenda Harris is retired, but I've been spouting the walking while retired for the last 5 years. So shout out to Brenda Harris and whoever else out there walking for their health. Drop Squad 52, dropping science to anyone who wants to catch it.
Drop. Make sure you stay to the video. I got something to show you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Peace out to Drop. I just didn't agree with that one part, but it's cool. I get it. We agree on a lot. We just sometimes see it a little bit different. So when we see things, we might have a difference of opinion on an issue. But I think we get to the same bottom line sometimes. We just take different routes to get there. But I understand what he's saying. It was total hypocrisy what Obama did and what he said. But that's not new to me. I honestly voted for the man, and I did it for my reasons. I did it for the reasons of the culture. I thought it would do better when we had a brother in office, and it showed my brothers and my little sisters that we can get somebody in the office. I put a big ass framed picture of him in my office, just like you would Jimmy Carter or George Bush and all that. I did the same thing with Barack Obama. It was the first time I had ever put a president on my wall in my office, and it was representation. It was representation. It had nothing to do with policies or any of that. I don't support the policies. Not all of them, some of them, but majority of them I don't support. I don't follow that theory of what they do. I'm just being honest with you. But I will say that I supported it for the bigger cause. And unfortunately, that didn't even work. Crime didn't go down, and none of the representation. Nobody cared in the hood that we had a black president. Nobody cared on black hustle, pimps and shit. Al Sharpton and them never told you the truth about Obama and what he really did for the black community. So I look back on it and I say, I wasted my vote. I got nothing out of it other than the only thing that I got out of it is what I was looking for, and that was the feel. It was a feel-good vote. It was an emotional vote. Took my 22-year-old daughter, who happened to be, I don't know, I guess she was 10 at that time. I took her to the polls with me for the very first time. I explained to her voting, the importance of voting. I explained to her, this is the first time we could be in a position right now where one day when you're my age or you're 50 or 60 years old, you could be telling your kids that the first time a black president was elected in the United States, you went to the polls with your dad. Some historical shit. A lot of people that I know trip out off of me, especially my kids. My wife and kids can't stand me when we go somewhere. I take a lot of pictures. And what they don't understand is I've been places in my life that I wish I had a bunch of pictures in. I can't bring them moments back in my life, only through memory. Memory could go away. Pictures can last forever. Memory thoughts can go away. I've been places in my life that I wish I had photographs of. I've known people, my Samoan friends, my Asian friends, Japanese friends, my German friends, friends from Italy. I wish I would have taken pictures with all those people. I wish I had contacts with all of them. I don't know what they could be doing in today's world. Never took pictures, never did it. Social media was different. It didn't even exist back then. So I wish I had all that information. But what I tell my kids now is, see, I'm from the old school where mama and granny and them, my grandmother, rest her soul, she's not around. But y'all remember the days of having photo albums? The family sit down and every once in a while we open up the family photo album, the book, and you see your great granny, you see your Uncle Rick, and you see people in the book, and you be turning the black and white pages and shit, and you be like, damn, yeah, I remember cuz. I remember, we kicking it and everybody having a great time. My children don't understand that. They don't understand when we go out of town on a competition or when we in Florida, I'm taking pictures of this, I'm behind the scenes, and they think I'm embarrassing them. I'm not embarrassing you, sweetie. I'm creating memories. I understand the importance of memories. A lot of them just don't get it. I'm okay being that old man ass dad that's embarrassing them. And, one day I tell my daughters all the time, one day you're going to look at these pictures and you're going to appreciate every day that dad embarrassed you. One day you're going to be like, Daddy, you took that picture? Look at me. Look how skinny I was. Look at my hair. Look at this. Y'all let me look like that outside. All the shit I used to say. So I'm going to keep on embarrassing your ass making these memories. Because I understand and I have a different appreciation for life. It's important to me to make memories. I know how important memories are for future. I know that memories, the photographs, tell struggle, show success. It shows stride, progression, failure. It shows everything. And it gives an appreciation. I'm one generation myself. I'm one generation out of the ghetto. One generation. My kids don't know what the ghetto is. I take pride in that. Oh, I'm supposed to feel a certain way that my kids didn't live impoverished? No, we're supposed to be cheering that shit. Not sitting back trying to make a man feel bad because he's been able to provide for his family. Some of y'all do that goofy ass shit. I'm from 1335 John Street. It'll never work on me. That's why they don't watch me. They can't stand it. They can't stand that a man could look them right in the eyes and say, what the fuck you talking about? My granny used to wash my socks in the sink in law homes, nigga. If I can make it, you can make it. They can't stand that shit. They can't stand it. They'll listen to a dude for 50 years on the radio, tell them every day how fucked up it is here. And that make them feel good. That make them feel great. It justifies when somebody do them wrong, the reason why they did it wrong, because of me. Black. Look at what they did to John Morant. Look at what they did to him. That's a no-go for me, bro. You say that bullshit for the other team. This team over here, Wade, we on some different shit. Our playbook consists of different shit. Your playbook is dated. Your playbook is dated. You can't sit here and still run plays. The NFL upgraded their plays. The NBA upgraded their plays. Hockey leagues upgrade they play. Golfers they upgrade their sticks. They putts and putters and all. Everybody upgrade their game, but the same motherfuckers, the perm and the suit dudes, the Al Sharptons and all them dudes, they on the same playbook. It's so bad now, it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculously bad at this point. It's so bad that even, let me tell you what I was going to talk about today. The city of Baltimore, the city of St. Louis, the city of Seattle, all these high crime areas, are ready to put resources towards lawsuits against a car manufacturer. Did y'all hear about this shit? Baltimore, St. Louis, Seattle, to name a few cities, are filing a class action lawsuit against Kia and Hyundai because their cars are too easy to steal. You would rather risk the resources of a bullshit ass case against a car manufacturer than to put those resources into the real problem. So let me get this straight. It's Kia's fault, the car manufacturer. It's Hyundai's fault because their cars are too easily to be stolen. So that's what's making our young boys go out here and steal their cars because it's so easy to do it. Can somebody make sense of that for me? Can somebody explain to me why these cities, they're black-ran cities, cities with black leadership? That's the smart thing to do, is to go out and sue Kia and Hyundai because the cars are too easy to be stolen. So that starts a nuisance in the city. That's a safety hazard in the city because the cars are too easy to be stolen. Let me ask you something. Leadership. Who's next on your list to sue? You gonna sue Kroger's because Kroger's meat is easy to steal and it's casing up people? It's putting cases on people because they shit is out in the open, so regular civilization like myself and like you can grab and feel and touch what we gonna buy. They gotta lock everything up to stop from being stolen. So we would rather reward the criminals once again by blaming the manufacturer versus blaming the real issue. You know what that's called? Y'all know what I'm going to say. If you follow Wyatt Live, you know what I'm about to say. These punk-ass soft politicians and leaders will always go after the soft target. They'll never go after the real target. That's going after the soft target. How the hell you going to sue Kia because they putting a car out here that can easily be stolen? You ain't suing them because the car is blowing up. You're not suing them because the car start on its own and then roll down the street with a baby in the backseat. You're suing them because a criminal can take it. So now guess what, y'all? Soon as they file that lawsuit, I am going to do a class action lawsuit against Walmart. If you're with me, raise your hand. And I'm going to sue Walmart because Walmart it's just too easy to steal shit in Walmart. It's a public safety. Because you can go in Walmart and steal something and OD off of it. You can go in Walmart and steal something and stab somebody with it out on the streets. You can go to Walmart and steal something, use the money that you stole, you use that money and you go buy drugs and you OD while you're driving down the road and you just kill some innocent people. That's Walmart's fault. Oh, yeah. I'm going to sue Walmart. I'm going to sue Home Depot because when you steal those tools, they selling them tools and they getting money and they going to buy drugs. That's Home Depot's fault. Watch this story right here. Watch this take.
Baltimore Pastor P.M. Smith joins us right now from the Baltimore area. Good morning to you, P.M.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm a little puzzled, though. So, something went viral in the last year where on TikTok they showed how you can just use a USB cord to essentially carjack a Kia or a Hyundai. And now Baltimore is suing Kia because they've made cars too easy to steal, even though they do meet federal requirements. What do you make of your city suing these car companies?
The number one concern in the city of Baltimore for every citizen is public safety.
Sure.
Crime is the number one issue. Now, they filed this lawsuit along with St. Louis and Seattle, and they're claiming that these two car manufacturers failed to equip their vehicles with what they call vehicle immobilization technology.
Right.
Okay? You're suing, there's a product that you say is defective or not prepared, but what we have in Baltimore is not a product problem, it's a people problem. 577 carjackings, that's a people problem. People feeling unsafe in their community, that's a people problem. 300 murders for the last 8 years, that's a people problem. So they can sue even if they're successful. It really doesn't address the real issues that concerns the citizens of Baltimore.
PM, you've hit the nail on the head. How about targeting the criminals rather than what they steal?
It's easier to address the issue of the manufacturer than to hold the youth, the parent, the mom and dad accountable. It's easier to blame it on the product rather than the behavior of the individual. It's easier to try to hold them accountable, and even if they're successful with their lawsuit, it won't solve the problems here in Baltimore. The residents of Baltimore are concerned about, number one, public safety, number two, economic opportunity, number three, educational excellence. And the city gets an F in all three. I'm sorry to say. Welcome to Baltimore.
Well, Baltimore's lawsuit says in part, PM, vehicle theft poses a serious threat to public safety. It goes hand in hand with reckless driving, which in turn causes injuries and death. It consumes scarce law enforcement and emergency resources and deprives the public of safe streets and sidewalks. So, PM, that's what they're saying. But, it's just a matter of time till your city sues Walgreens because it's too easy to shoplift.
Well, the real issue is that on the city and state level, they have policies that are soft on crime.
Right.
They hug the criminal while the criminal holds law-abiding citizens hostage in our own homes. One party controls the city of Baltimore. Right. One party controls the state of Maryland, and their policies do not provide the security and the safety that we need in our cities. One party does that, but that's the product when one party rules and you got a majority on both the city and state level. They care more about the folk who are their donors. They use them for their dollars, and they use us, law-abiding citizens, for our votes. That won't change until we change the way we vote.
Well, PM, you've just said some stuff that the people of Baltimore and the people who run Maryland are not going to like.
Well, I'm a truth speaker. I'm not running for office. I am an under shepherd. I'm a sheepdog. I live where I work. And I hate to say I don't care, but I ain't scared. What can they do to me?
Yeah.
I'm a grown-up. I was raised right. Everybody who hears what I'm saying may not like it, but they know it's true.
And PM, you have got a tip for the people in Baltimore who've got a Kia or who have a Hyundai. They can do what you do so their cars don't get stolen. And what is that?
What me, my wife, and my kids do? We have a 20-year-old club that still works. We put it on every night. We lock up everything. We make sure that club is on and locked, and our car's there in the morning when we get out. What can I say?
Yeah, no kidding.
Old school still works, and old school still wins.
It does. Words of wisdom. PM, it's been a real pleasure talking to you on this Wednesday morning. Thank you, sir.
Old school works and old school wins. Sounds good to me. That's Pastor PM Smith out of Baltimore. Oh, yeah, he got his hands full now. We're going to see how his congregation stay in. Because you know they're going to turn on him when the brother tell the truth about that Baltimore crime shit. Y'all know they don't like black folks talking like that. That's the problem that I have. That's why everybody over there listening to that bullshit right now on the radio. They love to hear their coded name regular people on councils and all that old shit. They love it. They listen, man, as long as you part of something, you feel like you part of something, you feel relevant. Them motherfuckers ain't moving no needles, man. They ain't moving no needles. Because the first thing they would be trying to get people to do is stop being part of something that already exists in the city of Cincinnati. And you would say, create your own. You don't need the city of Cincinnati to do anything in Cincinnati. You can go to Chicago and get banking for what you want to do in Cincinnati. The reason why they don't do and talk about that type of shit, there's a reason why they don't talk about it. They don't talk about it because they know if you try it and do it, you just might fucking accomplish it. You just might be able to get it done. But what they want to talk about is how it's unfair, this, unfair, that, and they ain't even trying to be fair to themselves. You can't, you know what? The biggest complainers be the ones that never really tried. They piggyback off of other people's, attempts. Well, I heard a guy on the radio one time tell them, well, I got a 740 Beacon. And Beacon, okay, that's a credit score. I got a 740 Beacon. And I know I qualify to be able to get that property over on such and such, and they won't even do this for me. A 740 Beacon don't necessarily mean you qualify for anything. Your debt to income ratio could be horrible. You might not even be able to afford what you want. Just because you have a great credit score don't mean that you're eligible to buy whatever you want. There's a debt to income ratio. Go have that 740 Beacon and go try to buy a $3 million house, and let's see how your 740 Beacon really feel like a 540. I don't mean any disrespect. I'm just trying to put it in relevant terms for you. Proper perspective. Go try to buy a $3 million house with your 740 Beacon. And you'll see what I'm talking about. It's not that you're not respectable. It's not that you're not a good guy. It's not because that you black and this ain't happening. It's because there's ways that money move and you just don't know. Don't blame racism on some shit you don't know nothing about. Tell the people what made them. What was your disqualification letter? Why did you not qualify for something? Don't tell us everything that's good about you. Tell us what went wrong in the process. And then the ones who got some sense will be able to tell you, well, okay, here's what didn't work for you. Let's fix it so now we can get a different decision. Instead, you want to go to the radio and pitch and bitch about some shit didn't work for you. You're not even giving proper content. I'm going to break it down to you like this. Ja Morant is being treated totally different than LeBron James when it comes down to flashing a gun versus shooting a gun. Sound good, huh? That's the house nigga. LeBron James is the house Negro. They let him do anything. Wait a minute. LeBron, let's put it in proper content. LeBron James is shooting a gun at a gun range and with proper attire on, being in a responsible manner, doing it the way it's supposed to be done. Ja Morant isn't. So we supposed to treat them the same. It's foolishness. We have no problem bitching and complaining without proper content. I can't deal with foolishness like that. Most people that you hear over there talking bullshit right now, they're not putting things in proper content. And there's people that love it. There's a person right now who got 3 evictions on their report. And they'll bitch and complain because some some white landlord in Mason didn't let them rent to them. They'll go on the radio and say, look, I make this amount of money. I got this many kids. And when they seen my kids, they said, oh, we don't let kids come in here. Oh, this got to be racial discrimination. Or, yeah, we like kids. We love kids. And then here's the deposit. You rushing the money in the landlord's hand, rushing it. Give them a report, an app, the whole 9. Got the down payment, first month rent, and the whole 9. I had everything. This is your story to the radio. I had everything. I gave them the down money. I gave them the deposit. I gave them what they needed. I told them I could move in as early as next week. But you know what you didn't tell everybody on the radio? You didn't tell everybody on the radio that you have 3 evictions on your report. Or hell, even 1. You didn't tell that story. You told all the greatness of how you was going to be able to get there and you can afford it now. You're a nurse now. You make $28 an hour now. But now you want everybody to just drop the shit that you've done in the past. The guy on the subway who get choked out. None of the shit that he did to these people on the subway matter. It's just that day that counts. The simple fact that he struck a 67-year-old woman in the face, got charged for it, got put on some type of little system where it didn't really punish him, a diversion program. Nobody wants to talk about how he hit somebody my mama's age. He hit your mama. He hit you. Nobody wants to care. Nobody cares about the shit. He was on the 50th worst list, the list of the 50th worst people on the subway. It was just a matter of time before he ran into the wrong one. Wouldn't you say that? Wouldn't you say that about a dude walking through Taft High School? If he keeps slapping girls, eventually he gonna slap the wrong girl and somebody's brother or her boyfriend gonna beat the shit out of him and damn near kill him, huh? And if the principal ain't doing nothing but sending him to the office every time he slap a girl walking through Taft High School, every time this dude walk through the street, he's slapping girl, pow, 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 pow. And all the principal gonna do is send him to the fucking office for an hour. Calm down, Rick. Calm down. You ain't got to slap everybody. You finish, you calm down. Okay, go on back to class. Eventually, he gonna slap the wrong motherfucker. And they gonna let him have it. If it ain't the girl, it's gonna be her brother. If it ain't the brother, it's gonna be the boyfriend. If it ain't the boyfriend, it's gonna be her daddy. Somebody gonna get his ass. Well, guess what? That's what happened to the dude on the train, whether you think it's humane or not. He done fucked around and got on the wrong train and threatened the wrong people. That's exactly what happened. Fame says, goddamn, you humane. You know who's humane? Inhumane? The people who allow him to get away with this shit 40-something times. If you don't have a system in place to correct people like that, that's more inhumane than I am. The principal in the school who allows the disruption of the same student over and over and over again and keep putting them in the same system out there with the kids. That's inhumane. That's not fair to the kids that want to learn. It's not fair to the kids that he done already slapped. And now you want to turn around and say what's not unfair to him, what's unfair for him when somebody finally do his ass crazy? When he get what he served it. And when somebody returned to serve, now you got a problem? I holler. Let's go to the phone lines. Good evening, caller. Good morning, caller. This is Wyatt. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, this is CK, Mr. Wyatt.
Oh, man. CK, thanks for holding, bro. I know I got off to my thing. You've been on hold for a
Hell
minute.
no, but you was dropping them jewels. You came with that bully stuff at the end. Like, good God, that's now it hurts. It hurts to tell the truth.
It don't hurt
You see
me.
what I'm saying?
It really used to. It used to hurt me to tell the truth. Now I do pretty good at it. Like I don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't mind the blowback I get for telling the truth. I'd rather
No,
you
but
like
the
me.
truth you were saying hurts to hear because, like you said, we already picked a side. But when you break it down legally, then you see, oh, he makes a point. If you getting terrorized, put yourself back in high school when you seen dude bullying, you be like, I wish that dude would try that. And then he do try it. And then you can't lie to yourself. Remember, you said you wish you could do that to you. Hey, it's on and popping. Wow. It's on and popping. And thank you for that video you showed us yesterday. That was, oh man.
Which one, CK?
Fantastic.
Which one, brother?
Janelle Monáe.
I showed that video?
No, you was talking about it on your platform.
Oh, okay, but you just said thanks for showing that video.
No,
I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I caught it late. They were talking, but you were talking about. I was like, what video? So I assumed because I had caught it late, I didn't know if you had showed it. I thought you showed it.
No, I didn't show it. I just talked about it a little bit. I couldn't watch 1 minute of it, to be honest with you. I watched a little bit of it. I seen what direction. First, I started listening to the lyrics. Well, it's kind of hard to even listen to the lyrics. You're just watching it. Then I start putting the lyrics and the video together, and I'm like, okay, I get it. And it's just not my cup of tea. It wasn't classy. It's just not something that I'm into. But I understand there's a crowd for it. I'm not hating on people.
That's my favorite artist. She's my favorite artist.
Yeah, I ain't mad at her.
It was so you know, I didn't know that stuff until I seen that video. That just like unveiled a new Janelle Monáe. I didn't know she was into women. I thought she was just, you know, regular. I didn't know she was a lesbian.
I didn't either
until I seen that video. Right. See?
I never knew either. I knew she was a little cutie pie, but you know,
Right.
yeah, no, she's a cute girl. She's very cute and she's very attractive. I've only seen her looking like, you know, a performing artist. And she does a Cadillac commercial. I think it's Cadillac. She has a car commercial that she does, and it's Audi or somebody like that, and she's very professional in it.
And great actress also.
Yeah, I've seen her in a couple movies as well. You're right. But
yeah,
I just be honest.
This was a revealing video that we never even knew about. It's like she gave us a new part of herself that we didn't know. Maybe she was hiding. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, brother. But listen, I'll be honest with you, man. I don't even have a problem with whatever the hell she identifies as. I never had a problem with people. Look, if you a man and you want to be a woman, that's on you. That don't hurt me in no kind of way or no fashion. If you a woman and want to be a man, that don't hurt me in no. I mean, that's you. That's that's who they are, bro. Do I agree with all of it all the time? No, but I don't have to agree with people on what they do and what they say and all that and if I don't agree, that don't mean that I hate them or anything. I just don't agree with the shit they doing. If I was a woman in today's world, I would feel a little different about women's rights are just being shitted on and trashed on right now. When men can consume themselves could see themselves as a woman and now get women privileges and compete against women and shit like that. That's just foolishness to me. But hey, that's it. Now I'll defend women in that case. But as far as do I feel like if a guy want to be a woman, shit, that's on him. I mean, that's on him. But I'm not gonna fight for him to have the rights of a woman. You'll never get that from me.
But as a woman in America, you got to understand that the value of being a woman is they don't need logic to win. They could just say anything. That's why the girl on ESPN be dominating all the athletes when she debate them. She just be like, oh, well, I'm a woman and you just need to shut the hell up. Okay. She's talking to professional athletes, Malika, I think her name Malika Andrews.
Okay.
But she talking to professional athletes about their career, about what the sport she in is, and when they prove her right or wrong on the point, she gets mad and automatically charges her, oh, I'm a woman and y'all trying to gang up on me, you trying to embarrass me. That's the advantage of being a woman. So you can always play victimhood. You don't have that advantage as a man. If you're wrong, you're just wrong. You're like, hold on, that don't even make no sense.
Some men
shut your dumb ass up.
Some men had that. Yeah, they listen to the radio all day. Some people listen to the radio all day, every day, and some men do that. And I'll be the first one to tell you, black men do that shit all the time. Black men on the radio play victim. We use the victimhood card all day long, every day.
But that's a woman trait. That's a female trait.
Oh well, then
so you just got a man like this. He's raised by the female trait, like no father in the house. Well, but if you got a man, you learn to take responsibility for your actions.
If you look at the majority of men on the radios and podcasts and shit like that, the majority, I'm not calling names, I'm just saying from what I'm looking at in today's entertainment, most black entertainers, most black leaders that take a certain position, take the position of oppressed or that's the new hustle. It's the new hustle. I mean, it really is, bro.
We are the oppressor, though. We are oppressing each other because I'm trying to get this through to people that people don't realize the thrill and joy we have for destroying each other. Like we would rather destroy some shit than get money or have sex in the black community. That's why the violence is so high. They like I would rather just take everything you got or put you in the grave. That's what I'm getting off on. I'm not getting off on, oh, well, he got money and I'm going to rob him and no, I just want to humiliate you. That's why we get on the Instagram bragging about the crimes. We don't even, I'll kill you, rob you, and then get on Instagram and tell everybody.
Yeah, that's a certain element. You're right. There's people that do that.
Yeah, that's why. And once you got to identify it. It's not the conditions, it's the mindset. That's why you could be a millionaire still gangbanging, because you want to destroy some people. You want to, oh yeah, because you want to kill people because you can, because you have the opportunity, not because of lack of opportunity. You want to be like, yeah, I could just run up on this car and hit him with the, the gun, the submachine through the side. He's dead. Right. His family gone. So we haven't identified that as a people yet. We still blaming it on, oh, it's the condition. No, it's the mindset. We have a slave mentality where we getting off on destroying each other. We didn't took on the master traits.
Well, let me say this to you. You're on to something there. I'll be honest with you, CK. I was watching, I think it was I don't remember what show it was, but I seen they had the special guest on was what's that guy's name? Not Bill Maher, but there's another guy that's on HBO. Somebody help me out with that HBO guy.
Bill Maher.
Not Bill Maher, but it's the other guy who has he looked funny. He's a TV guy on HBO who has his own talk show, and he had Dr. Phil on as a guest. And he wanted to say, so the guy who has the show really wanted to go in on Trump so bad and make it about political this, political that, and racist this and racist that. And Dr. Phil wasn't going for it. Dr. Phil was like, wait a minute, I'm not going to sit here and say that Trump is the problem when it comes to politics. I don't really care for the man, but he's not the problem in politics. Politicians are the problem. The real problem in politics is the culture. You got to understand the culture of people. Politics is not our problem in the black neighborhood. It's our culture. You can win with Democrats in office and you can win with Republicans in office. It's the culture of the people. Look, Democrats ain't never tried to keep kids from having school. Okay? Republicans ain't never tried to stop kids from being in school. Neither one of them have tried to cancel education. You can win. You can be a productive citizen with either one of those parties in office. But it's the politicians that want the power and that allow certain cultures to get away with certain things. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you can't reward crime. And if you got one side of the party, like that man, like Pastor PM didn't say it, in Baltimore, he made it very clear. Now, this is a black man, so I guess he's racist. I guess he's a coon. He's a pastor of his community.
No, not the brother you just showed talking to the white man. I think he was reputable. I think he was. He had integrity, in my opinion.
But that's what I'm saying. CK, that's what I'm saying. But they'll turn around and call they'll call that man a coon. He's working. He's a rep. He's an agent for the other side. But this man he live in Baltimore, and he's telling the truth about an area that people don't even live in, and they won't pay him any attention. And that's where our problems lie. We tend to want to be effective. Once we get affected by something, then we want to be the loudest fucking voice in the room. But we can never have a radar on and see a problem coming and do something before the problem get here. We're called reactive people versus proactive. You can't win no game trying to make audibles and trying to make up plays as you go. If you don't have a game plan before the other team get here, you're probably going to lose the game.
Yep, especially if you don't have John Morant in the game to play for you. You got to think he's the number one guy, young guy in the league. So you got to, when you think about John Morant, you have to think about his value. If they paying him $239 million, what you think they going to do? They need him, so they can't do nothing. Their hands are tied.
Well,
because they showing you they got 239 million reasons why he not going nowhere.
Well, I'm going to tell you this right now. The NBA is involved. He's going to get suspended because he broke the rule again. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, okay? He's going to get suspended probably half the season next year, if not the whole season.
What?
Yeah, he'll get
40 games?
40 games. He'll probably get 41 game suspension. Plus, he'll pay a fine. He'll have to do some community service for the NBA, which means go to schools and talk and do all the things like, all that stuff. He's going to end up having to do that. And he's also going to have to probably go through some type of class and all that type of stuff. Okay, he's going to have to do all of that. And to be honest with you, man, people that don't understand that, I can't convince them. If y'all don't see that John Morant did something wrong, if you don't see it by now, then you're just not.
He did something wrong, but you can't, as an organization, suspend a guy half a season that you invested $239 million.
Yes,
that's going out. That's going to cost. That's going to cost them financially.
Yeah,
they need him on the court.
Yeah, but he could cost them more money than $231 million if he continues to act the way he's acting. When he starts not selling tickets and people don't want to be affiliated with the NBA because of how people out here acting, that could cost them network deals. We talking billions of dollars that they can lose by one person. That's not worth it to them.
But all I'm saying, Mr. Wyatt, is don't be excessive. You see what they did to Michael Vick. He did not deserve to go to prison and lose all that time out of his career for that crime.
He did.
They went excessive with him.
Well, you got to understand, he broke a rule also. Not only did he break a rule, he broke a law. He had two different situations going on. Do I agree with what they did with him? No, I don't agree with it. But here's the thing that we have to understand. We got to start understanding that when there's big contracts involved, there's big lawyers, there's big deals, there's big stipulations on your contracts. I don't feel sorry for an individual that makes a whole lot of money but break a rule, because the same guy that don't make a whole lot of money who break rules get the same type of punishment. So why do we all of a sudden give so much magnification to a celebrity because they broke a rule and now they got to spend the same type of punishment, or they lose the same thing? When you separate a young man, a black man, from his family, I don't even want to say a black man, a man, period. When he making $12 an hour and you separate him from his job for 2 years and his family for 2 years, he take the same type of loss than a man making $40 million. Okay, they lose the same thing.
No, you're looking at it the wrong side. You got to understand the people that is getting rid of them. How about that? Don't make that's too. Why would you? Don't hurt your own business suspending him for that. That's not. He didn't do something to get suspended for 40 freaking games.
He did.
You see what they did with Kyrie Irving? Kyrie Irving got suspended for absolutely nothing.
Well, what you got to understand, what we call nothing with a plain view eye is never a plain view eye when there's contracts that we're not privileged to seeing. You got to understand, these guys don't just walk into a room and sign a contract oblivious. They get schooled and they're educated and they're taught the do's and the don'ts and the things that are in these contracts. It's duly explained to these guys. Okay, it's not like you and I just walking in, we sign a contract, CK, and now we get our money. And it don't work that way. There's things that come in place. There's lawyers, there's stipulations. You don't just sign in one spot. You sign in several different areas for different things that are in place of this particular contract. You know the do's and the don'ts. You know the exemptions. You know what you can and what you cannot do. And you sign off on it. And once you sign off on it, you're signing saying, I clearly understand that I can't do certain things. And when you're breaking bylaws, such as Section 9, Article 4, or Article 6, then you know that what you're doing is against the rules. Ja Morant just got suspended 8 games a month and a half ago. What makes him think a month and a half later he can do the same thing that got him suspended and it not be a problem?
Let me explain. And this is what I think you might be overlooking. Remember, another man that broke Article 9 was Gilbert Arenas, right?
Yes.
So you got to understand, are these manipulated plays by the players? Now look, Gilbert Arenas ain't played in over 10 years, but I guarantee he's making over $10 million from those Washington Wizards a year still to this day. So it's something in those contracts about with the guaranteed money, they still getting paid. So even if he does get kicked out of the NBA, imagine how much money he's still gonna have coming to him years to come.
So
I think it's a problem with him. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was just gonna, when you made that point, I don't think you understand what guaranteed money means. It don't mean you get this money no matter what in the world happens, you get this money. This is guaranteed money as long as you playing. Do you understand that? Like, as long as you're playing.
Now, upfront money is yours. It's not in your hands, Mr. Wyatt.
Okay.
If you sign a guaranteed contract with the Bengals and then you mess up 2 weeks later, you already got the guaranteed content, the guaranteed money in your hand.
It don't quite work that way, bro. That's why I was trying to tell Emmanuel yesterday when he said something like, well, maybe Ja Morant, who's worth $231 million on his contract, maybe since he has $80 million sitting in the bank that he feels good about that. Do you know that if you non and void your contract, if you do something to make it exempt, you owe that money back because you didn't fulfill your contract?
No, we got a legal term called guaranteed.
No,
you guarantee. So just like Julio Jones, when
so
you
now you're gonna sit here and tell me
it's mine.
You're gonna tell me a legal term of guaranteed means that you can get that no matter what.
So you telling me I got to pay? So you
let
guarantee me
ask you
$30
something.
million up? I'm talking about upfront money.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever heard the term bumper to bumper in a warranty on a car?
Yep.
You know how when car manufacturers say there's a bumper to bumper warranty on this car. When you hear bumper to bumper, you feel everything's covered, right?
Right.
Does that mean everything is covered when you hear bumper to bumper? It's a guaranteed bumper to bumper bumper to bumper warranty, guaranteed bumper to bumper. That means everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. It's a play on words. It's virtual wording. Okay, it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. The only way it's guaranteed is if you fulfill with the things that you do in the guaranteed portion of your contract. And that means if you have to fulfill your contract. And another, like for instance, injury may not guarantee you the full amount of money as well. All right. Let's just say, for instance, you sign a $100 million contract and you get 50 million of it up front and it's guaranteed. When you get that guaranteed money, there's still stipulations for you to be able to hold that money. You don't get that $50 million and now you can go out and do whatever you want to do, be a fool, and just void out your contract. That contract included the guaranteed money. You still have stipulations on the guaranteed portion of the contract.
Yeah, you right. I said it wrong, Mr. Well, I mean the upfront money. That's what's making them act crazy. They getting so much upfront money. But remember, I told you Gilbert Arenas, he broke that rule, and he's still rich. He's still getting paid from the team today off them guaranteed contracts that he had that he broke the rule on. He's still rich as hell today from the Wizards, from the Warriors. He's still getting paid, just like Ken Griffey's still getting paid right now.
That's not the same thing. Ken Griffey Jr. did a back extended deal, which means they couldn't afford to put him on the payroll. It would have been a situation where they couldn't afford him yearly. So what they had to do was put him on what they call a retro back end deal, which means, okay, we're going to give you $90 million, but we're going to give you, $10 million for 9 years after you retire or after you leave the game or once you leave the Reds or whatever. Gilbert Arenas may not be getting paid by the Washington Wizards. The money that he might be making 10 years removed from the game, which I'm just hypothetically speaking because I don't know his contract situation. He could be getting paid money from the first team he ever played with because they did a back end deal with him. I don't know. But you can't say because he got kicked out of the league when he was playing with the Wizards that the reason why he's still getting money is because of his contract. It might not be that contract. It might have been a prior contract that he's getting paid from. It's like the Bengals. The Bengals cut a kid and he has 1 year left on his contract. And then here come the Baltimore Ravens and come in and buy his contract out. They may settle. The Bengals owe you $1 million. We're going to give you $700,000 of it right now, but we want to put you on a 3-year deal. More likely that Bengal player is going to do that. So now who's going to pay him? Now we owe him $700,000 instead of $1 million because we let him go to Baltimore. But then he go over to Baltimore and get kicked off the team for doing something impractical. And he don't get that contract money that he was getting from Baltimore. But guess what money he's still getting? He still gets the $700,000 that I owe him from the Bengals.
Yep.
That's a different contract.
But the only thing I'm saying, I think what we're dealing with John Morant is you got a guy with so much money, so young. He like Kanye, you can't tell him nothing. Well, ain't nothing nobody could tell him to make him listen. He like, to him, it probably don't feel like he doing nothing wrong. So he not going to listen to people at 24 when he got $80 million.
Right.
He's right. Like, I'm not doing nothing. It's a witch hunt. He seen what they did to Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, well, John Morant don't have that same argument. It's not a witch hunt. All his shit is on IG. He voided this. He did something. He violated the code of conduct of the NBA, who's protecting a brand. No NBA team wants a guy running around the streets with a gun in the air, rap music and all that old bullshit, putting a gun to their own head. No business wants that. If it was a school teacher or a principal from a local high school that was doing the same thing, that school teacher or principal would be removed from their job. It's not the type of representation you want for your business.
Yeah, but the main thing all you need to do is make sure he doesn't do it again. And by suspending him half the season, I don't think you're doing that.
But wait a minute. Hold on, CK. I'm with you on that. That's why the first suspension happened a month and a half ago. They slapped him on the hand.
They shouldn't have suspended him. They should have made sure he did. What the heck? That's the problem. Y'all keep wanting to get somebody in trouble. No, make sure he doesn't do that behavior no more.
Okay,
make him understand why he shouldn't do that. Don't just try to destroy him.
So how do
make him understand?
But how do you do that, CK? You suspend them and you send them to classes and you tell
them. You don't suspend people for stuff that he should not have got suspended. That's what I'm telling you.
So how do you fix that problem?
It's too minor to be suspended. You should just that's something you see. The witch hunt is you trying to destroy people's lives and you're jealous because he a young man with $80 million. So you want to get him back to the streets. They want to see him go to jail. They want to see him get locked up.
Oh my God,
his people, they saying that his people not his real friends. No, the people that's telling you that ain't your real friends. The media not your friends. They don't give a damn about you.
Okay.
As soon as you can't play basketball no more, they gonna throw you in the trash. But his real friends, okay, you made a mistake. Make sure he stop suspending him. That's where you go wrong. These guys are too good to be getting suspended for minor. Now, if they really do stuff, like you said, break the law, then okay, we can talk about suspension. But if you're not breaking the law, you don't deserve to be suspended. Stop getting mad and trying to just throw somebody's career away like they did Michael Vick. And that was the extreme with Michael Vick, because they don't do that to the other players. I think you're being too excessive with half the season, Mr. Wyatt. That's too long.
Okay, that's your opinion. I get it, brother. But I see it a little bit different. And the reason being is because I think John Morant clearly understands now. I understand. I'm not going to say he understands because he obviously don't. I understand exactly. You know what, CK? You're right. The suspension didn't really matter. You're unbelievably right, because guess what? When he got suspended 8 games, he came right back out and did it again. And it
after he said he learned. He said he learned from it.
Right. So it don't matter to him. So guess what? If you don't suspend him this time, then chances are he's probably gonna do it again. He probably will do this again while he's out on suspension. I mean,
you really think he's gonna do it a 3 strikes you out now? You gonna mess around?
Wait a minute, hold on.
Now, if he do it again, he want to get kicked out. It's a fact. It ain't that he don't want to play basketball no more.
Well,
if he do it 3 times,
all I can tell you, and the brother is way too good not to want to be out there. I don't think he don't want to be out there. I mean, it's not like he out there struggling. This kid is having his way out on.
But how much do the money change you as a person? I think the money could possibly take your love for the game away. Like a Kyrie Irving, I don't think he loves basketball the way he once did because he got so much money in the bank.
It may not have anything to do with
Morant too.
It may not have anything to do with money. It might be the business of the game that he don't like. It might be the fact that the travel and all the things and the scrutiny of his life. The game has made him a superstar, basically. Okay, I'm talking about Kyrie Irving. The game made him a superstar. He loves basketball. He's been playing it his whole life. But what happens is this, brother: the game changes your life. It changes how you see your day to day. He can't go to restaurant. He can't live like we live every day.
Right.
So
it don't only make you crazy, it make you crazy and everybody in your vicinity crazy. All y'all looking at each other crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he can't even have a normal relationship with a woman. He don't know who really love him in this world, man. Imagine being John Morant's in them age and you have $80 or $90 million. If you're a fool, you're gonna fool around. But if you really a real person and stuff, it's gonna be hard to find genuine people to be around.
Yeah, you got to go with the high school sweetheart. You got to go with the one that was there with you in high school. Especially if you got 80 million, that's the best case scenario. Yeah, because you can't trust nobody you're meeting.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. I mean it's tough. Money. Look, people always say that he might not want to do it because of the love of money, and now he feel like he has enough money and blah blah blah. I sometimes think that people have the wrong perception of money. I think people think money makes people evil and nasty and raw and all that old stuff. I think there's a whole lot of broke people that are evil, nasty, and raw. So it's not money that make you do that. It's who you are. Money might magnify who you are, but I mean, I know a lot of people that got money that are very generous and nice to people. But then there's some
like
people,
the guy Boosie. Remember the rapper Boosie?
Yeah.
Very evil, hatred, but he puts on this persona like he cares about black people. Like, no, you kill black people, and you got people in prison because of your murders you put out on black people. You never kill no white people, Boosie. But then as soon as a cop kill a black man, now you are Black Lives Matter. But that don't matter when you're killing us, Boosie, badass.
Right. All right, CK, I got to run, bro.
Yes, sir.
I'm up against the hour, and I got some things I got going on. I appreciate you calling in. That was my man CK. Y'all know I'm Team CK, but we fell off the track a little bit today. We fell off the track. Hey, that's my time, y'all. I'll catch y'all tonight, 5 o'clock. Don't be late. I'm starting on time. Peace and love to everybody. This is Wyatt. I'll holler at you.
Head so hard that your hat can't fit ya. Either I'm with you or against ya. Format bent ya. Back through that maze I sent ya. Talking to the rap inventor. The game type fifth, that flame right. Spell my name right. B-I-double-G-I-E. Iced out, lights out, me and Caesar Leo. Getting for some chick he know. See, it's all about the cheddar. Nobody do it better. Going back to Cali, strictly for the weather. Women and the sticky green, no seat, please. Papa ain't soft, dead up in the hood. Ain't no love lost, got me mixed up. You drunk them licks up, mad cause I got my and my forfeit. The game is mine. I'ma spell my name one more time. Check it. It's the N-O-T-O-R-I-O-U-S. You just lay down slow. Recognize a real dawn when you see one. Sipping on booze in the house of blues. I'm going back to Cali, Cali. Going back to Cali, Cali, Cali. I'm going back to Cali, Cali. I'm going back to Cali, Cali. If I got to choose the coast, I got to choose the east. I live out there, so don't go there. But that don't mean a can't rest in the west. See some nice in the west. Smoke some nice sets in the west. Y'all is a mess, thinking I'm gonna stop. Giving LA props. All I got is beef with those that violate me. I shall annihilate thee. Case closed, suitcase filled with clothes. Linens and things, I'll begin things. People flash, 818-213s, 313s, B.I.G. Frequently floss at Roscoe's. If I want a scooter, take her to Fat Burger. Spend about a week on Venice Beach. Sipping Cristo with some freaks from Frisco. I'm going back to Cali, Cali. I'm going back to Cali, Cali, Cali. I'm going back to Cali, Cali. I'm going back to Cali, Cali, Cali. Cali got models on the runway, scream Biggie, Biggie, give me one more chance. I'll be whipping on the freeway, the NYC way, on the celly with my homeboy Lance. Pass hands from left to right, only got 5 left to light. I'm set tonight, better the Versace store. Says he suck it till I ain't got no more. Only in LA, bust on ballet, rub it in their tummy, lick it, say it's yummy. Then your man, what's your plan? Is it to rock the tri-state? Almost gold, 5 G's show date, or do you want to see about 7 digits? Hold exquisite, Cali, great place to visit. I'm going back to Cali, Cali. I'm going back to Cali, Cali, Cali. I'm going back to Cali, Cali. I'm going back to Cali, Cali, Cali. I'm going back to Cali, Cali. I'm going back to Cali, Cali, Cali. I'm going back to Cali, Cali. I'm going back to Cali, Cali, Cali.